ओम सर्व वेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरम तम गोचरम गोविंदम परमानंदम सद्गुरुं प्रणतोस्म्यहम्. We have been studying Sri Shankaracharya's Viveka Chudamani, and we have studied last time up to Shloka 64. And we have to take up Shloka 65 today. But let us remember the context which is going on. When the disciple approaches the Guru assures him immediately that don't be afraid, I will take you across. And the same road which people have traveled, I show to you. And then he uses some words to tell him the answer. And the Shishya then asks the meaning of those words. That is, we shall let us remember the Shishya's question, the words which he has used, so that we'll understand what we are reading. O Nama Bandha in 49. O Nama Bandha Kathamesha Agata Katham Pratisthasya Katham Vimoksha Kosau Anatma Paramahaka Atma Tayor Viveka Katham Etad Uchchata. What is this bandhan, from how it has come, where, how it stays, how we get freedom from that, what is this non-self, what is the ultimate real self, and how to discriminate between the non-self and the real self. Please tell me this. So these are the points he has asked. Basing upon what the Guru had replied, that I shall tell you this. So there is a process in the traditional Vedantic teaching. Unless we know the meaning of the words, how can we know the meaning of the sentence? So they say what? How they teach? Pada padartha vakyartha nyayena. Pada word meaning word. Padartha, pada means how that word has been derived. Padartha means the meaning of that word. And when the words combine, then the vakya artha comes. When the words are used in combination, they reveal their meaning through interrelation. And that is how they teach. But if we see critically, this is not at all sufficient at all. That is just telling the meaning. And accepting their method, we should add, note down those who want. Pada, padartha, vakyartha, bhavartha, gudhartha, tatparyartha, then only the meaning has been received. Because there is a bhav, an attitude, a mental state, a mentation contained in the word every sentence. So that bhavartha we should know. And then when we enter deep, unless we enter very deep, the meaning does not come up. So gudhartha we know. And then where it is pointing out to, what is the implication, what it is directing our mind to, that is called tatparyartha. What is the tatparya of this sentence, where it is directing us to, that should be understood. So the traditional method is pada padartha vakyartha, but it becomes essential to add pada padartha vakyartha, bhavartha, gudhartha, tatparyartha. Then we get the real implication or the meaning. So Shishya has asked the meaning of the words. And then Guru has not replied to the meaning of the words immediately. He has praised him, Dhanyosi, Krutakrityosi, etc. And then he is telling that one has to get rid of the bondages oneself. Other man doing something will not help you. And then, without knowing the ultimate reality, only reading the scripture will not do. And then the most important shloka, 62. Nagachati vinapanam vyadhir oishada shabdata vinaparokshavanubhavam brahma shabdairina muchyate. Last time we tried to understand what is aparokshanubhav. And previously we had taken a book of Aparukshanubuddhi. So there we had explained in great detail. So what is the Aparukshanubhava, without which you will not get mukti by the word Brahman. That is what Acharya told them. And then important point is Akrutva Drushya Vilaya. We see the world, and unless the level of our consciousness changes, unless our consciousness rises to a pitch where the world is not seen, so unless we get the world dissolved, how can we realize the nature of the self? Otherwise, it will be only uttering the words. And then uh, in 64, he gave a simile, and now in 65, he enunciates in detail the process. Aptoktim khananam tayopari शिलाद्युत्कर्षणं स्वीकृतिं निक्षेपः समपेक्षते नहि बहि शब्दैस्तु निर्गच्छति तद्वद् ब्रह्मविदो विदोपदेशमनन ध्यानादिभिर्लभ्यते माया कार्यतिरोहितं स्वममलं तत्त्वं न दुर्युक्तिभिः. Here in the first two lines, the subject or the important word is nikshepa. Nikshepa means some treasure. There is some treasure somewhere hidden. How it will come? Nahi bhai shabdaistu nirgachati. It does not come out. From outside, if we utter the word treasure, treasure, it will not come out. Then what is to be done? Point number one, aptoktim. There must be. Apta means one who has reached the goal. One who has got what he wanted to get. So when Apta tells us, this is the way, this is the place where the treasure is hidden. So first, Guru Padesha, that Guru should tell us how to go about it or where the treasure is hidden. Then Khananam, then we have to dig out. And while digging out, there will be many stones covering that. So Tayopari means after Aptaktim and Khananam, Shiladi Utkarshanam. We have to remove slabs and stones under which it is buried. Swikrutim, that is another point. We have to pull it out by hand. So we have to receive it, accept it. So 4 points he has told. Aptaktim, Thananam, Shiladi Utkarshanam, and Swikrutim. And then he says the treasure samapekshate expects this rightly. The treasure expects this rightly to receive it, but to undergo this process. Nahi bhai shabdaistu nirgachati. From outside, if we say treasure, it will not come out. This is the simile. Tadvat. Like that, Brahma Vidopadesha, those who know Brahman, they will teach us. So first point is the utterance or the teaching of the Brahmavidas. Then Manana. What is Manana? Let us understand. Manana is not cogitation. In English, the best word for Manana is reflection or revision. That means in our wrong knowledge, centuries and ages together, uncountable lives together, we have lived in under the spell of ignorance or wrong knowledge. That has affected our thinking, feeling, will, and everything. So our mind, all the faculties of our mind have been affected by the wrong knowledge. What is the wrong knowledge? I am a jiva and the world is my enjoyment. This subject-object consciousness has deviated all our thinking. If ask people what is the primary duty of life, he would say to earn money. Now I am there, I want to enjoy, then only this money factor comes. Everything in our thinking is vitiated by our wrong knowledge. Not only thinking, feeling, we are attached to somebody due to body, we are attached to somebody due to our mind. So this is feeling being affected by the wrong knowledge. Similarly, will, I'll do this, I'll do that. All these are due to being affected by the wrong knowledge which you are carrying for ages together. Now, Aptoktim has come, or Brahma Vidopadesh has come. So that hearing or listening or Shravan has given some light in our consciousness. We must have received it as a conception at least. Now, in the light of that conception, we have to revise our thinking. That is called manana. I would add, thinking, feeling, will, everything has to be revised in the light of the knowledge received. And we should not project our thinking, feeling, will. How can this happen? How can that happen? That is all due to our own thinking. I'll give you 2, 3 examples, then we understand. One example. If the Guru is telling us you are Brahman, then where is the knowledge? Implication. Where is the knowledge? Inside us. Everybody has infinite knowledge within him. He is knowledge, infinite knowledge, Satchit Ananda. So knowledge infinite is within us, but we are not aware of that. So it has to be discovered. And what the Guru has to do, what the teacher has to do, he has to help in discovering this knowledge. I'll give the incident. One girl, Pushpa by name, was lecturer in physics in the Institute of Science at Nagpur. Being a devotee, she would come visit the ashram often. But I remember in the month of April, she came at about 11 o'clock in the morning. And as she saluted my Guruji, he asked her, Pushpa, how at this time you don't have college today? Now she wanted to tell the situation. Month of April, all the classes, theory classes are over. Boys are revising their practicals. And when they require the help of the teacher, they get. So teachers are relatively free. She started telling, Maharaj, now the teaching is over. Maharaj could not proceed to the next sentence. Teaching, Pushpa, you are teaching? I never knew you are teaching. I thought you are helping them to learn. Understood this? This is manana. That means the man is so saturated. His all thinking has been so revised that he says, I never knew you are teaching. I thought you are helping them to learn. One example I'll give. Now our feelings. Why we are attached to our mother, father, friend, so many people. Because some particular association with body or mind has taken place. Now if all is Brahman, if without exception all is Brahman, if everything is unreal, then why this particularized attachment? So the particularized attachment is going against the truth, which you have heard from the Guru. And we hate somebody. So this hate also is directly opposite. Everything being Brahman, hate is not true. Now, in the light that we understood that everything is Brahman or everything is false, we have to revise our feelings. Raga, Dvesha, etc., all everything we have to revise. This is a manana. will. I shall do this is our will. And we do everything for ourselves. Selfishness, that is wrong. If our reality is the universal reality, why we should do something for this body alone? Now, how to revise this? Sri Ramakrishna has given the best answer for this. He said, Shiva Jnane Jeev Seva. That means every Jiva is Shiva. With this knowledge, we have to serve him. It will be like serving Shiva. What is this? Sri Ramakrishna's sentence is the best example of how to revise our will with the help of the truth we have received. So, I have given you little examples. How our everything now, everything. If people ask me how to do Manan, I would tell them, I would recommend complete verse of Swami Vivekananda. In that he has shown us everything, how it can be done in the light of the truth. Implication has been shown everywhere. In the field of language, in the field of education, in the field of arts, in the field of performing arts, in the field of science, everywhere in the field of literature, with one exception. When people ask Swamiji, what is your opinion about politics? He said, I don't know any politics other than truth and faith in God. Other than sticking to truth and faith in God, I do not know any politics. So, why he said so? It is impossible to base politics on the truth. Some people try to approximate, that is a different thing. I will tell you another, well, uh, let us not digress, but I will tell you another funny thing in this respect. A Russian author who had settled in America, Petrim Sorokin, he has written a book in which he has shown the inherent limitations of democracy, communism, and capitalism. Inherent defects. And so none of the system can be perfect, he says. He said, then how the world should be ruled? He says, if Indian sages rule the world, it will be better. And then he adds next sentence, but they will not rule. So that is the way to tell that politics is difficult. But everything else Swamiji has shown in complete verse, in different contexts, how should be our language, how should be arts. And Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda has called him Sarva Vidya Sahaya. How the performing arts, like acting, dancing, music, Sri Ramakrishna has shown how they can be turned towards God. This is called Madana. Though the traditional Vedantis will talk of thinking, revision of thinking, I would say revision of all mental faculties, thinking, feeling, will, whatever we have, imagination or whatnot. Everything to be revised in the light of truth heard. That is manana. Then the mind becomes saturated by the proper thinking, feeling, will. And then, well, I tell you another incident. Maybe after 8 or 10 years in the ashrama, I approached my Guruji and said, Maharaj, till now, I'm not getting any experience. He said, his experience like a pumpkin. You will see some outside. And then he asked me, tell me one thing. Your idea world, your thought world, these are the two words he used to use. Your thought world or your idea world has changed totally or not. And just a moment's introspection told me, yes, I'm not thinking now. I don't have those ideas now, which I had in my house. Completely changed. Then I accepted, yes, Maharaj. He said, now the experience will start. So after Manana comes this Nididhyasana. Here, Shankara has told only Dhyana. In Vedanta, it is called Nididhyasana. So when the mind is saturated by the correct thinking, then the mind will go deep. And then only the real meditation will start. Our problem is, everybody wants to meditate. Meditation does not come like that. So, Shravana, Manana, then Nididhyasana. And so, this is the place of Manana. I think I explained to my abilities, revision of our thinking, feeling, will in the light of truth heard from the rishis. And then the mind becomes saturated. Everything, how to do accounts, how to do this or that, everything can be thought of in the light of the truth. I give you the example. Swami Vivekananda's complete verse you read. So, and then Dhyana Adivi. After Dhyana also he has added a word Adi. What is Dhyana now? I explained Dhyana in connection with Bhakti Yoga. Now Dhyana is inside, rather the Vedantic Dhyana is Nididhyasana. That means inside, not only our thinking, feeling will is vitiated, inside there are deep sanskaras of bhoga. The subject-object consciousness with which we have lived has produced very deep sanskaras in us, and they must be uprooted. So, when we try to take this truth which we have heard deeper and deeper and deeper, then we'll be coming across those sanskaras and we can uproot them. So, Sri Ramakrishna advised Swami Vivekananda that other than the reality, whatever thought waves are coming to you, you have to throw them out. So the sanskara of subject-object consciousness have to be removed. That is called dhyana. Adi should mean auxiliary sadhanas. So, Tadvat, like the treasure, Brahma Vidopadesha, that is like the Aptaptim, Manana, that is like digging out, Dhyana Devi is like acceptance of the truth. The experience should come, and that experience has to be accepted. We should not feel it is something strange. That should be accepted. Dhyana Devi labhyate, and that is how uh, we get. What we get in the next line. Swam amalam tattvam. Maya karya tirohitam swam amalam tattvam. Maya, wrong consciousness. The effect of wrong consciousness is covering the truth of our personality. Tirohitam. When the effects of Maya have been removed, this will remove the effects of Maya. Our own pure, swam amalam tattvam, our own pure real nature, labhyate, we will get that. Na duryukti, not by wrong arguments, not by unnecessary arguments, not by arguments. So all arguments become duryukti, or you may take wrong arguments. Arguments are wrong always. So this is the whole process. तस्मात् सर्व प्रयत्नेन भवबन्ध विमुक्तये स्वैरेव यत्न कर्तव्यो रोगादौ इव पंडितै. Pandita here means wise man. Tasmat, therefore, all effort should be given for becoming free from the bondage of this world, and you yourself have to do that. As in the case of some sickness, we have previously told, you have to take medicine and you have to observe some pathya or restrictions. So that you can include in the dhanadi also. So you yourself have to follow medicines and restrictions, and the wise man. So make all your effort to get the truth, free from the bondage of the world. Now he turns to the questions made by the Shishya. This is the background he has put. And then now he turns to the particular questions. Because only answer to the questions will not solve the problem. And so he has told Aparokshanava and Aptoptinkanam, etc. Yes, Toyadya Krita Prashno Variyan Shastra Vinmataha Sutra Prayo Nigudhartho Jnatavyascha Mumukshuvi. The questions which you have done today, they are very great questions. They are supported by the Shastras, and you are asked in short, not roundabout, but the meaning will be very deep. And they are the questions which a man desiring liberation should have known, should know. So that is how we have accepted the questions now. Shrunushvavahito vidvan yanmaya samudiryate tadetat shravanat sadyo bhavabandhat vimokshase. Vidvan, Vidvan here is not a scholar, but wise man. Shrunu, avahito, attentively, what I am telling you. Maya samudiryate. Then an important thing is telling here. Tadeta Shravanat Sadhyo Bhavabandhat Vimokshase. In the last shloka, we discussed Shravan, Manan, Nidhasan, etc. And here he says, by if you hear properly, immediately you will be free from the bandhana. So this you must understand. Shankara never will contradict his own statement. So we have to think of these two statements. For an average man, that may be true, but for special, actually the knowledge comes what rishis tell us. If we listen with our heart, I have been telling many times, if we listen from our heart, it becomes engraved on the heart. Manana is necessary because our thinking has become wrong. Dhyana is necessary because bhoga sanskara are very deep. After manana and dhyana, we will get the same knowledge which you have got by hearing. So knowledge comes by hearing properly. From the Guru to the Shishya. Obstructions will get removed by manana and nididasa. So he says, if you properly, the word is properly. If you properly or attentively listen to this, sadhyo, immediately, bhavabandhat vimokshase. So there is no contradiction in the two statements, that if properly, attentively it can be heard, then freedom comes, But if not, then proceed Manana and Nidyasan. And after Nidyasan also, you will get the same knowledge which you got by listening. So now he starts his answer. Mokshasya hetu pratamo nigadyate vairagyam atyantamanitya vastushu तथा शमश्चापि दमस्थितिक्षा न्यासा प्रसक्ता किल कर्मणां भृशम. Here again, my teachers used to tell one very important thing, that the Shishya asks a question. Guru does not answer that question. Guru answers the questioner. So even after all this introduction and telling that I'll answer to you, he is not answering directly the particular questions asked by him. In the course of the talk, he will explain. But what is in the Shishya's mind? Shishya wants to be free. And so he starts talking about the process, how he will get free. So, particular questions, objective questions, reply, that is our academic examination. In spiritual life, questions come from an unsatisfied state of the mind. And that state of the mind has to be satisfied. And so, the answer is not to the particular question, answer is to the mind of the questioner. And so, we see now, the first question was, what is bandhan? He is not answering that. Mokshasya hetu pratamo nigadyate. If you want moksha, he wants moksha. That is evident. So if you want moksha, the first call, the first action which you have to take, nigadyate means has been told. Anitya vastushu atyantam vairagyam. So by telling anitya vastushu, Vivek has been told. And the resulting vairagya is the main thing. The entire world is transitory. All the bhogas are transitory. Thinking that atyantam, acute, vairagyam, dispassion, acute desire to go away from them, acute desire not to indulge in enjoyment. That is the first starting point. Then comes Shama. One does not start controlling the mind unless the acute desire for non-enjoying the objects comes. There is no use in trying to only control the mind. That is not the science. So tata shamaschapi, shama is necessary also, but it is after vairagya. Dama, then bodily, first mental control, then bodily control, titiksha, forbearance. So what was told in the adhikari being repeated here, nyasa. Nyas means giving up. Prasakta akila karmanam brisham. Prasakta means which have been enjoined in the scriptures. Scriptures are enjoined what work we should do, good work, to purify ourselves, not for enjoyment. Now, if one has vairagya and shamadama titiksha, then next should be our doership should go. That is what akila karmanam brusham prasakta akila karmanam brusham nyasa. That should follow. His meaning is that take up sannyas, nyasa. Tataha shruti. Then only hearing functions properly. Tataha shruti. Tan mananam. And then we already explained mananam. Satatva dhyanam. Not that meditate on some point like Patanjali says. Satattva, that fundamental nature, that should be the object of meditation. Chiram, it has to be done for a long time, as if we are doing forever. Nitya, regular, nirantaram, without gap, mune, by a man who is proper thinker. Tato avikalpam parameti. Nirvikalpa is called here avikalpa. That means when this meditation starts, then nothing else remains. One without a second reality shines in our consciousness. So, in this process, if we proceed, then avikalpam param, real avikalpa, eti, etya vidwan. So, the vidwan is the proper learned man, comes to this state of nirvikalpa if he properly proceeds in this way. And then in this very life, very, very clear where Chudamani is on this respect. Nirvana Sukham. What is Nirvana? The word Nirvana tells us absence of I consciousness. So this I consciousness goes away. And what is the result? Joy. The moment I consciousness goes away, there is a joy. Samruchati obtains properly. So Prathama, Vivek Vairagya, then Shamadama Titiksha, then Sannyas, then hearing, reflecting, meditation on the reality, which should be for a long time, regular, without gaps, continuously, then one reaches the state where the duality vanishes. And here itself, the nirvana sukham, the joy of extinction of I is obtained. Now he comes to the questions. Yad bodhavyam tavedanim atmanatma vivechanam taduchyate maya samyak shrutva atmani avadharaya. So he says, anityavastu shu. So first is vivek, discrimination. Now what is discrimination here? Not nitya nitya vastu vivek. Atma and atma vastu vivek. That means our real nature is there. And something is there which we call our real nature, which is wrong, which is not our real nature. And if this function comes, then that which is not real nature will drop down. That is the next point. And this is to be learned. Yad bodhavyam tava idanim atmanatma vivechanam. That I am telling you rightly. Hear it and within yourself make a firm conviction of it. Dharana of it. Proper dharana, proper concept you make. Now he starts describing the body in such a way that we'll understand that this is not I. This is how the discrimination starts. So first he will discriminate that the gross body which we feel as I is not I. From there it starts. What is the gross body? Majjasti med palarakta charma Twagavhe dhatuvire virenvitam padoruvaksho bhujapashtamastakair angairupangair upayuktametat. Two types of description of the body. One is the material contents, types of material contents, and the other is parts of the body. So types of material concern compared of the 7 ingredients. Sometimes 8 are used, here 7. I will explain the difference. Namely, marrow, marrow is in the bone, bones, fat, flesh, blood, skin, and cuticle. Cuticle is our skin. Oh, skin is there, then 7, okay. Cuticle and skin both are given here. So this is what we are. Very clear discrimination. Am I bone? Am I marrow? When it is analyzed, it becomes easy. And the body. Are you flesh? Are we fat? Are we blood? Are we skin? So, and then parts, legs, thighs, chest, arms, back, and the head. So I am not my head, I am not my chest, I am not, because my chest I say. So I am not that chest. So the body has been described in the material content and the parts. Aham mameti prathitam shariram mohaspradam sthulamitiryate budhai nabho navasvaddhana bhumaya sukshmani bhutani bhavanti tani. And it is this body which I call either I or my. Aham mameti prathitam. This is the body which you have been feeling as either you or my body or I body. Mohaspadam. And this is the object of delusion. This is called, wise people call this gross body. Stulamitiriyate buddhi. Now, it is made of all this material. How it is made of? There is subtle matter. Subtle means which we do not see by the indriya, but that is matter. And when it combines, we see or feel or touch or hear. So the original subtle matter is being described. Nava means space. We should not translate it to English as sky, space, akasha. Then vayu, navasva, wind or air. Dahana, that which burns, that means agni or teja. Ambu, water, bhumaya, earth. Not the gross things which we see, the elemental things. Sukshmani bhutani, they are the materials, subtler, bhavanti tani. They are the subtle elements which in the next shloka will tell us when they combine, they produce these elements of perception. परस्परांशैर मिलितानि भूत्वा स्थूलानि च स्थूल शरीर हेतवः मात्रास्तदीया विषया भवन्ति शब्दादयः पंच सुखावभोक्तु. Now they get combined with each other. The subtle elements, and the students of chemistry will understand, or anyone should understand. There is something called mixture and something called compound. Mixture means 2, 3, 4 things are together. Compound means they are not there now. They are combined to produce something new. So that is called paraspara ansher militani bhutva. Some part of this, some part of that, that is called paraspara ansha. Militani, after combining bhutva stulani, then they become gross, which the indriyas can perceive. And from this gross, the stula sharira has become. Though stula sharira was described as Snayu Majja, etc., but now it is described as the 5 elements of matter. Matra sadhya, and a small amount of that are the objects which you are enjoying. Vishaya bhavanti, become the object of enjoyment. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. Sound, touch, then vision, taste, and smell. And they give pleasure to the bhoktu. When we feel we are the enjoyer, that is the I consciousness, not our real nature. But this I consciousness tries to enjoy, And these materials, when they combine and become perceptible, then they are for the enjoyment of the enjoyer. They are not I. Yeshu mudha visheshu baddha ragorupashena sudurdamena ayanti niryantyatha urdhvamuchai sakarma bhutena javena nita. Many things are told in this shloka. Mudha, deluded man, in the objects is bound. Attachment is like a pasha, bandhan, fetter, urupash. It tied our heart or chest. Sudurdamena, it is difficult to get rid of that. What happens to those who are bound like that? Ayanti niryanti. They undergo transmigration. They come and they go. Now, Urdhva sometimes higher, that means God become gods or higher beings, or sometimes become Pashu and lower beings. That is how they continue to go. What guides them where they will go? Swakarma bhutena. Swakarma dhutena. Your own karmas are like the messengers which take you to the respective places. Javena, they're strong. Nita, being carried by the strong messengers, which is your own karma, they go to higher or lower lokas. Now a very important shloka is coming. How they bind us. Shabdadibhi panchabireva pancha panchattamapu swagunena baddha kuranga matanga patanga nina bhrunga nara panchaviranchita kim. 5 animals he is describing, and they succumb to one type of object. Shabdadevi Pancha. Panchavireva. Pancha animals. Panchatva Mapu. Panchatva means they break down, they die. Dying is called Panchatvam. That means the 5 things in our body become separate. Panchatvam Mapu. Swagunena Baddha. Guna means their tendency, attachment. Baddha, being bound. How he is telling now. Kuranga, deer. Matanga, elephant. Patanga, the small moth. Patanga is moth, and then fish and bee. These 5 he is taking as an example. Now the deer is mad after hearing. What the hunters do? They will play the flute or something. The deer will go there and stand. Even if he is being shot, he will not go away because sound is going on. So the deer loses his life only by the bondage of hearing. Elephant, elephants like to touch or brush against the other. So how the elephants are trapped? They dig a pit, and on the pit some very ordinary things appear to be covering. And there near, they tie a she elephant. So when the elephant comes, he gets the tendency of rubbing his body against the she elephant. And when he goes near, he falls in the pit because apparently it is covered, but not by strong things. That is how the elephants are normally trapped. So elephant loses his life because of the sense of touch. That is his weakness. Big elephant. Patanga, moth. Now moth likes the burning light, lamp or anything which is burning. It knows, it should know that there is death. But seeing the light, it dashes itself on the light and dies. So simply the vision or the light, attachment to that light has become the source of death for the moth. And fish likes taste. So the anglers, they put a little some food and put the angler down, then the fish comes to catch it. And there is uh, a thorn-like formation there and it is pulled. So simply by the attachment to eating, remember all of us, huh? Simply by the attachment of the eating, the fish loses its life. And the bee is mad after good smell. So especially when the lotus flower is there, the bee goes inside. And even if the night is coming, it feels okay, I can somehow come out tomorrow, and the lotus becomes closed and the bee dies. So being attached to the sense of smell, the bee loses its life. And then Shankar says, oh man, you have five senses. And being attached to five senses, think what is your position. Nara Panchaviranchita Kim. So, man, Panchaviranchita means being attached to all the five organs. What will happen to you? Or you will die. So, this is how through an examples, he is showing how our life is going towards destruction unless we guide it, unless we guard it. So the Vairagya is being explained here. Doshena tivro vishaya Krishna sarpa vishadapi visham nihanti bhoktaram drashtaram chakshishapyam. So what he had begun with, that if you want moksha, the objects of enjoyment should be doshena tivro. One should see the acuteness of the defect in that. Krishna Sarpa Vishadapi, the black snake has a poison. And more than the poison of the black snake is this attachment to the sense objects. How more? Poison will kill you if you drink it. But these things are killing you only when you look at them. So when you look at the objects, they pull you and you die. So one should get rid of them. विषयाशा महापाशाद यो विमुक्ता सुदुस्तजात स एव कल्पते मुक्ति नान्या षट्शास्त्र वेद्यपि. So this desire or hope, desire for objects is like a great binding fetter and very difficult to give up. But if one can be free from that, he only will be able to get freedom in the world. Even if he is learned in the Sikh Shastra. Sikh Shastras mean six systems of orthodox Indian philosophy. That is being called Sikh Shastra. Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. Now, you are well learned in all these six, but if you are attracted to this, you will die. Only when you are able to get rid of the fetters, the bondages of these objects of enjoyment, he only can think of getting freedom in the world, not only a learned man. Apata vairagyavato mumukshun bhavabdi param pratiyatu muddatan ashagraho majjatentarale nigruya kanthe vinivartya vega. Now, apata vairagyavato. If your vairagya is only apparent, if your vairagya is only on surface, if it has not gone deep in your personality, so you are told in the beginning that Vairagya has to be strong. So here he says if the Vairagya is on the surface, Apato Vairagya, and yet you desire to be free. You desire to go beyond the ocean which is samsara, and you have started going with surface Vairagya. You have started trying to cross the ocean of the world. Then there are these crocodiles and like that beings. That is called graha, the crocodiles. What is crocodile? Your desires. If your vairagya is on surface, your desires are working. They are like crocodiles. And in between, before you can cross, they catch you and sink you in the ocean. Madhyate antarale, in between. By catching your neck, nigruya kante, with strong force, they will whirl you and drown you. So, Vairagya is being emphasized again and again to start with. Vishayakha graho yena suvirakya asinahata sa gacchati bhavambode param pratyuha varjita. So, these crocodiles in the form of Vishayas, by strong Vairagya, like the sword, one should cut. One who can cut, he goes beyond this ocean of transmigration without any obstruction. That is how he has described the beginning of the journey. Shravan Manan Nisan will come later on. First of all, Vairagya. And so, the first step is being described in great detail. In this way, we have been able to read up to Shloka 80 today, and it continues like that, taking all the steps necessary. It is not that just by reading Vedanta or understanding Vedanta, we cannot cross the ocean of samsara. When all these practices are undertaken, then only practices means it is not physical practices. No? Cultivation of the mental attitudes. So when the mental proper attitudes are cultivated, then only we can cross the ocean of samsara that is figuratively described. Om Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tame Gocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmiham. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpana.